Let
Wait,
me.
let's turn my camera on for this.
Oh no, you're fine. Your voice is very recognizable. People will know.
Give me a second. Why do I have Gabe muted? There you go. You're not muted anymore.
What? Oh, is that Derp Turtle?
I hate their turtle. Why is he here?
Leave the toy 1 month, yo. New is harm to community just like Belian. Wait a minute.
I hate him so much.
All right, let's get started. All right. What's up, guys? Welcome to podcast number 29. Today I have with me Car, Valk, and special guest, best friend Nue. So I'll let them introduce themselves in that order and get started here. Car.
Yes, sir. Resident boomer, part-time RTA player, ex-new destroyer. And that's it. What's going on, guys?
Jokes, or
Hey guys, I'm Valk. I am a Solvier player trying to cosplay as a aggro player. How you guys doing?
nice to meet you guys, everyone. I'm sure you already know me as your best friend. I'm sure a lot of you actually now found out that I'm also your resident Wyvern 12 farmer. What?
True.
Legend. Soon to be legend. RTA player. Could you imagine Nue?
Did you tell them the context on that, New? We had to manual the 13.
Oh yeah, so pretty much. I don't know if I'm sure a lot of people here didn't see, but I had my account reviewed by Kana, I think 2 days ago, and I actually never farmed Wyvern 13 a single time since its release. It's way too hard for me. It's too difficult, too much effort, and yeah, I just farmed Wyvern 12.
Holy.
I can't even. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Wait. Actually, on serious note, I can actually do Wyvern 13, but I have to manual it because I have to use Arky twice.
Oh my god.
It was a nail biter, boys.
I
Felt like I was watching Abyss, honestly.
Timber says if Nue ends legend, I shave my head. Wait, aren't you already bald? Wait a minute.
Damn, exposing him.
Wait. All right, let's get started here. All right, so we'll talk about these things. All right. We have a few things. All right, we'll just start with the first thing, which is the Belian. Okay, whatever. Yeah, we'll talk about our new our resident new knight that's coming out. And I think it's a bit of a spicy topic.
Very spicy.
Yeah, because at first I was actually very hesitant on pulling her. I was like, okay, whatever, she might stop a few soul generations later on. Okay, it's kind of annoying. But then afterwards, I was, oh wait, it just straight up negates Tagahel's book. Never mind.
Yep.
And that's kind of
I was gonna say
go
when
for it.
they released it on the stream, right? I think the general consensus was like, she seems okay. It's a little bit awkward, and something felt off, right? Because if you think about ADS strays, right? The big boss heroes prior, they all have some type of new mechanic to the game, right? So I was like, something feels off about this hero, right? Like if she's just going to block soul generation, right? Does that mean like I have to bring more books, right? And the more I thought about it, and this was like I was watching the stream, and I went to cook, right, with the stream on, and something just like occurred to me. This doesn't seem right. She seems too awkward.
Wait.
Great,
Doesn't the stream start at 3 a.m.?
Yeah, 3 a.m. is when I have my dinner.
What? Okay.
He's on those, dude. He's up late or early, I should say.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Anyways, continue.
But yeah, I was like, something just feels off. I was like, she doesn't feel like she breaks the game, right? Or cracks the game wide open the same way the other two does. And I get back to my computer table with a bowl of noodles. I'm slurping my noodles, and I see like this screenshot posted everywhere where Nue's like, "Hey guys, I just heard back. She blocks tags." I was like, "Oh no!" And I choke on my noodles. And I get chili oil down my throat, and it was not fun.
Ooh.
I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, let me give you guys some context behind that whole thing, whole ordeal as well. Because if you guys watch the stream on the patch notes,
Hmm.
there was a segment where I was saying, you know, oh, let's wait for more word for clarification because, from my understanding, I believe it's just blocking soul gain. So any souls you take into combat, you should be fine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was really wrong. But again, I had a feeling that there's a chance that this gets rid of all souls. So sure and behold, we talked to Korea afterwards. I was actually scrambling to get because Korea was having some issues with their live stream, so they had to solve
Oh.
all that on their end first. So I couldn't get an answer right away, but yeah, we eventually got a response back, and there was a Reddit post. And here's the thing: global live stream, we have this reputation now for being infinitely inferior compared to our Japanese live stream counterpart. So
Yeah.
players are already saying like, the JP live stream has confirmed that it does get rid of Tag Hell's books. So, it's making us look really bad because we
Mhm.
Yeah,
weren't
and
able to confirm.
you have the
that.
clip of news saying, guys, to my knowledge, I think
Yeah.
it does, or doesn't block souls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so thankfully we
At
were
least we
able
got
to
the
get it out.
clarification.
Yeah, pretty fast too. Pretty fast, despite the
Yeah.
issues that Korea was
And
having.
then we saw there was a Twitter post by Dominial, CM Dominial knew that also was kind of
Oh
memeing about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so our Twitter person seemed to know before I did. Or around the same time.
Oh my lord. That's I'm kind of a little. I'm not. Oh, you don't have to comment about this new because this might be. Because you have to be on your best behavior.
Yeah.
I, with the way things have been in the past, I'm not gonna be surprised. I don't put it past it. If there are people that are up in arms about this because let's be honest, right? People who've been playing for a long time probably have like 3 max Target Hills books. And if it straight up negates those, right? A, that's a lot of books they might have bought with powder from Powder Shop. B, that's also a lot of EXP used. And with the way things have been in the past, I'm actually curious to see how many people are going to try to shoot for a recall, right? People push for some sort of recall or whatnot. Because I can't imagine, like if they nerf the skill kit with that, then I feel like she's not very, not nearly as unique, in that sense. Because the rest of her kit is still decent, I think. Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask you guys a question for on the sake of this topic. Would you guys want because this isn't something that is completely foreign where we've released a kit and
Mhm.
then and tweaked it before it was actually released to the game. Would you guys like to see that for Belian?
Yes, yes. So I actually talked to Silliness about this, who's the #1 ranked arena player, right? And the idea he said he thought would actually make for a fun and interactive gameplay was that instead of, blocking soul gain, you block the opponent's ability to burn their souls, right? So if you're cleaving a Belian user, right? Then the interaction you would be doing is you would have to burst down the Belian as quickly as you can as an aggro player to basically go on a mission impossible mission to rescue your souls for like whatever units you have left. And I thought that was actually like that makes for at least more interactive gameplay than what we're seeing now.
That definitely sounds like a much better sort of design, I think. So the one thing about this that I don't like is that the way her skill kit works, it's kind of like they're selling counter or selling a solution to something that some people struggle with.
Dave, first time playing E7? Because I think
Oh,
we've
sorry.
had a lot of
Sorry, yeah. Sorry.
Isn't that the
I'm new to the
trend?
game. I've never seen that happen
Yeah.
before this game, but
make a problem, sell a solution.
Yeah.
Here's something else I want to ask too for on the sake of this topic. I know a lot of our recent releases for ML5s have been not that great. A lot of people are saying like,
Yeah.
man, our balance team is being way too conservative. They're not taking risks. They're not introducing anything new to shake up the meta. Everything's boring. And then that's always been the complaint in the past months since like ML Koeric, what's it, ML Charles, And
Mhm.
now we have something that is going to shake up the meta. And now everyone's saying that's too much. So
It's a
What
lose-lose.
do players want then? What is it that players want? Just more kind of like play it safe or
So
shake up the meta?
contrary to that, I would say rather than shake up the meta, right? What Belian is doing is she's shaking up the core game mechanics, and that kind of goes a little bit too deep and in like basically kind of invading, a player's comfort zone or like what they feel comfortable with, right? Since it's having souls, right? It's so deeply ingrained into the game's mechanics, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
And
well, I
I
have
think
another
that's
question to
kind of
that
like.
then.
Mhm.
I have another thing to that because I guess there is this discussion, right, that Belian isn't good for game design, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Would you guys say that Tagahels is good for game design?
No.
That's a great question. Probably not when it's like being abused, but maybe just like a standalone, sure.
I think we've talked about this in the past, actually. A very long time ago, we talked about, initially, in the game especially, when the game first came out, Tagahel's book was even more dominant back then. There's no counters to it. And we were talking about how Tagahel's book wasn't the best thing for the game. And instead of like straight up giving you souls, Tagahel's books could increase your soul generation.
Hmm.
And a lot of us felt like it was better, but at that point in time back then, it was hard for it to be like we didn't have like we didn't really know new yet back then. There wasn't any communication, right? There's no way to like talk about stuff. The game was still really new back then when it first came out. But I think unfortunately with how long Tagahel's book has been here already, because of what units that you guys have released counter something, utilize that sort of in that sense. I feel like it's hard to just get rid of it because people have invested. I think that's where people are going to take. So playing devil's advocate, right? That's why I feel like it's gonna like. It's almost similarly to. Oh, is my mic cutting off? Sorry.
Not through Discord, but yeah, chat's saying it's cutting out.
Was it through stream?
He
That's
sounds
slightly
fine to
weird.
me, right, guys?
Yeah.
New?
He's on.
I didn't hear any cut out, but stream is saying you're cutting out for some reason.
Oh, that's kind of weird. Yeah, I guess it's really just the fact that like what's another thing to relate? Oh, it's like something ingrained into the game, right? Like we can't easily take out dual attacks.
I
don't
wish.
know. I wish too,
Yeah.
but like I feel like it's one of those things that like I wouldn't mind having them change a bit, but because of how long it's been there, it's hard because people have invested stuff into it, or it's like so what did Valk say? Oh yeah, something people are comfortable.
Yeah,
Oh.
so like basically it's because we learned the game off of the basis that your character can generate and use souls, right? And a lot of players basically the whole way they built their whole play style, right, is like there's different ways people play, right? For example, people who manipulate CR, people who they draft like 3 mages and 2 soul abusers, right? And I feel like yes, it would counter that, but to remove souls completely from a match just because you slammed a character, right? It kind of invades people's comfort zone and like it kind of changes the fundamental way people learn the game. Right. And I think that's kind of where the issue lies with this. Because the counter goes a little too deep.
I don't like that it might destroy an entire playstyle. Like this time, finally, everyone always says cleave dead every single new unit, but this time it might be for real. But this might be a spicy take. I think maybe at least what would be nice is if we could just let it rock as is, and then if Smilegate could, maybe be open to nerfs later down the line. I don't know. It might be too much of a knee-jerk reaction to offer book recalls or change your kit up, because like New was saying, guys, it's a lose-lose when you either have ML Coeric power level or you have something that's way too strong. It's very hard to find a middle ground, like the perfect unit. There's very few of those that are fun to play, but they're not over the top, but they're not weak, but they fit in the meta. You're not wasting your molas, so I'm not sure what the right answer is. I'm right now inclined to just say let her through.
I think the worst part about her is, so a lot of people say like, oh, this counters
Strays
cleaves.
is good. Strays is nice.
I don't think
Sorry,
she just purely counters cleaves. Like it's just like, let's say you're playing a normal game. Eventually, you'll a lot of times I feel like you'll run into a situation where you generate enough souls and you'll like soul burn. Let's say for like a Ravi or like Fire Ravi or like Landy. Like if Belian is on the field, just straight up don't have that anymore. So like, I don't think it's necessarily bad to change the meta and stuff like that, but I don't know about like straight up like a hard counter like that.
You think this one might be just too much?
So here's the thing. Okay, if RTA was in preseason, I think I'm more inclined to let it rock. But because RTA is in season,
yep,
I feel like it's a little. It
I
could
think that's fair.
be a little daunting to just suddenly have this slammed into the middle of the season.
Yeah, I could absolutely see that. But I think part of the issue, right, and it kind of circles back to another issue that I think player base haven't kind of is worried about, right, which is you want Belian to be a good standalone unit, regardless of what she's built to counter, right? We already know like Smilegate likes to, basically create a problem and then solve the solution, which is fine, right? Like that's kind of part of, running a game where it's an ongoing service, right? I get that. But I think what everybody wants is for Belian to be a good standalone unit, right? But now we have a new problem, which is all of her stuff is AoE, right? And all of her stuff has HP scaling. So now the question is she a good unit if you're not drafting her specifically to counter books, or at least if she's a decent unit, right? And I always tell people, right, don't like have a knee-jerk reaction, right? We're not going to know how good or bad she is until we see those scalings, right? But now the new worry is, okay, what if she has good scaling, right? But because all her stuff is AoE, right? If her scalings are good, don't Cleaver just pick her and then play her as a like high crit damage unit and just cleave with her? Like
So the usual
that's a
thing
new
that
worry,
happens
right?
with anti-cleave, yeah.
Because they can still use souls, right?
I will say this. I will say this. Light actually mentioned this on his stream, and everyone knows he's our resident Cleaver boy, and I say boy. HP scaling. That's all you have to know. I obviously can't give you guys like the numbers and stuff like that. But it's highly unlikely that cleavers will look at Belian and adapt her. The reason why, like, cleavers are able to work in, say, like, Politis, and even that's kind of limited in its, like, in how it works. It can work, but it has its limits. And why they're able to take on things like ML Angie into cleave as well is because they're mages. Mages are a big rule in enabling cleave. But Belian is not a mage, she is a knight. So that's already spelling trouble for trying to get her to cleave.
Sure. But we would assume oh, sorry. Did you have something else to add?
No, and I was going to address someone in chat saying that cleavers also use FCC. FCC is just really good in general because of skill null and a barrier, but Belian does not give skill null and stuff like that. And I just want to say too, I know there's a lot of concerns because her skills are AoE. How good will she be? Because I can already picture people saying like she's just gonna proc like Rem everywhere. Rem's gonna go crazy when you go Belian. Violet's gonna counter like mad, and there's just gonna be so many like Rowanna's gonna go crazy as well. But I think people are really undervaluing the two debuffs that she brings on her S1, which is the speed and the hit chance. When Rem is blinded, how threatening is that S2 proc?
Unless she's in demon mode.
Yeah, when she's activated.
She's in demon mode.
Yeah.
But I do see your point there. One thing I want to just address real quick in chat. So while we're on this topic, just what you guys think. Mace says, and Mace is another person who's been on the podcast, does YouTube videos. He says this unit takes away strategic choice. When you don't have souls, you'll never soul burn, which means you'll never have to decide which unit to burn or when. I think that's bad design.
Agree.
Wait, can you repeat that for me?
May says this unit takes away strategic choice. When you don't have souls, you'll never soul burn, which means you'll never have to decide which unit to burn or when. And he thinks that's bad design. So it takes away another, I guess, mechanic in the entirely. So you don't have to think about soul burning ever if she's healed, kind of thing. You just
yeah, I kind of agree with that, right? Because let's take an example, right? Something that's you have similar to right now, right? Is Amelia is really strong, right? And one of the default counters to Amelia is Politis, and I think everybody can kind of agree Politis is a little bit overtuned. and how much she kind of brings, especially in that passive, right? And especially in Amelia's cases, right? When you start off a game and your Amelia goes first, a lot of times you can just decide to pass a turn. Okay, can I burst this Politis before I start to rev my Amelia and start to generate tempo and momentum for my team, right? That's actually a decision you can make, right? With something like what Belian does, right? The biggest decision you make to play around her is, do I ban her so I can soul burn at all in my game, or do I just, my comp doesn't require soul, so I'm not going to ban her, right? And it reduces the amount of decisions you have to make in game, and I think in that sense, Mace has an absolutely good point.
I think that's
Do you
fair, but
think-
guys, if hold on,
Oh,
if we're saying like this is bad design, are we saying Angel of Light Angelica was acceptable design? That also is very hardcore, just limiting your choices. No,
No,
when she gets
I'm
to
not
go?
saying that.
so I mean, it's kind of where we're at. All these units kind of just have really powerful shit that I mean, it is, I guess, by design the no souls. I agree with that part, but there's a lot of units already that kind of just stop our decision making.
Okay. I just want to say that I agree with that statement. You know, the less choices you have in actual gameplay, it doesn't feel good to play, right? It doesn't feel good. But I am wondering, is there a world where if Belian is introduced and a lot of power is removed from a lot of these bookholder picks, a lot of these powerful soulburn picks, is there a world where suddenly characters that weren't viable are now viable because not everyone has to now suddenly only use Carrot, only use Stene, only use like all these soul like book carrying heroes? Do you think
That is something I
that
thought
there are
about.
other heroes?
One of the things I did think about is, like, I'm pretty neutral to her right now. Like, I'm not gonna make a final judgment until I see her come out, and see how she plays. Actually, I feel like that's a lot of the point in the game now. Oh, sorry, that's how the game is for me. When a new unit comes out, I really have to test her or see her in action before I actually feel like I'll get a feel for her now, fully. And actually, I kind of do agree with that. Like, if she is on the field, either A, the draft is going to change a lot to what we currently see right now, or there is a possibility that we go back to Season 1 meta, and we do see a resurgence of code.
I don't know if that's what we want to see though, because in my opinion, right, my experience with RTA, right, is prior to Angel of Light Angelica showing up, I actually thought we had a pretty fun meta, right? I know some people aren't like fans of this RGB meta we have going on because they feel like it's kind of a coin toss sometimes. But I actually think in terms of game pace, right, fast versus slow games, right, I actually think we had a pretty good like mix up of different types of playstyle going on.
To be fair, so the one thing is, oh, go for it.
No, I was just gonna grab my game real quick and check my past 10 RTA matches to see if I agree with that statement.
Oh, but
Be right
the
back.
game's down.
Well, he said
wait,
pre-Angelica.
I
To
was
be fair.
screenshot.
Oh.
I was screenshot.
I think one of the things about this is, like, I'm not necessarily against her being put in the game right now. Well, personally for me, I'm pretty neutral with all this. The thing is, like, for other people, I don't know, you know, if they're that for this, because it drops a
Gabe,
huge bomb.
let's pick a side.
I can, man. I can.
Which one you want?
Because to be fair, if she's in the game,
Yeah.
I feel like it could be interesting because it changes up a lot. And I'm not nearly against that. It could make things fun. It could make things very different. And I'll be honest, my drive to push for RTA has been pretty low sometimes because I've been kind of lazy, you know. I sit here, I play Valorant, I watch anime, I read manga, I do some work, you know. I'm just like, do I want to... In between, I'm always, do I want to push for RTA?
My man.
I'll play some, you know, here and there, but I don't mind if, like, it does shift up the meta. Granted, not everyone's gonna think the same, right? And obviously, like, depending on the huge majority of the people, I think that's where it matters the most.
What's the general consensus from now that we know for sure it stops book? Are people... All I've heard so far was, I mentioned earlier, like the Korean player base is very upset, but the global, I guess, chat here, are we, how many of y'all wanted to go through as is, or are you guys threatening to quit if she doesn't get changed? What's the, how we feeling? Because I think a lot of people here are kind of neutral, if you want my personal take, I let it through. It might be bad for the game, but unless
You know
they give her
what? Let me
something
do a
else in the
poll,
kit.
Since
Yeah,
there's
let's do
a
a
good
poll.
amount of people here. Should I do a poll for what is Belian good for the game? Question mark?
Maybe. Yeah, sure. Whatever you think is good. Just their overall take on if she goes through like as is, right? No
Okay.
changes.
Let's see. Is Belian good for the game? Yes. No. I feel like there needs to be more answers.
How about do you want Belian released as is in
Yeah.
her current state?
Okay.
Yeah.
Do
That's
you want Belian released as is in her current state? I'll just do a yes, no. I'll let this run for a while.
Because I talked to some other players, right? And there's definitely some sentiment that like the fact that any mage comes out, immediately, right? Some players would be like, "Oh, that's a tag a hell holder," right? I think that in itself is a problem, right? And I am definitely I can agree to like, okay, we look for a way to kind of curb that problem, right? But I think just saying, well, now you can't soul burn, that in itself is a very lazy and badly designed solution.
So what is a good and not lazy solution?
Yeah, you're saying nerf
So
toggle hells
for
instead.
example, like I said earlier, right? One thing silliness came up with, right, is that make it so that instead of not being able to gain souls, you make it so that your opponent cannot burn souls, right? So you're kind of on like a time crunch to kill her before your aggro team booms, right?
So one
And then
thing.
once you
Okay, so
go for it.
the one thing that I guess. Okay, I'll be honest. So as a cleaver, for people who cleave, there are still options possibly available without that, and I'm not gonna say it's not that hard for someone to boom a Belian. I feel like, possibly. To be honest,
Even with holy sack.
okay, wait, nah. Pantry was talking about that. Holy sack. Okay,
Yeah.
when I get her, I'm putting holy sack on her if she
Right.
if she comes out as is, because that's gonna be the most infuriating thing for people. Anyways, but yeah, like without that, right? It's like I don't know if that's like it's not. I think it might be a little bit better of a design than what it currently is, possibly, but I'm still a little worried about the fact that people can.
You're saying Valk's change is kind of nice in theory, but in practice it's going to be the same shit, right?
It doesn't change
Almost.
nearly that much, I feel like. Cause
I think so too. I like how it sounds, but I don't think that's going to. If y'all have an issue with the souls thing, it needs to be addressed. Not this. That's more of like a band-aid fix. I think that'll still 90% of the players that didn't want this Toggle Hells or change, the cleavers will still be upset with.
Does Arcane
Yeah,
Mercedes cancel her passive?
It does.
It should.
And I also saw another person say like half souls or something like that. That's not going to fix the underlying issue as well, right?
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
if she were to reduce souls by 50%,
I think
that
the
would
thing-
still, yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing is, Smilegate is trying to like they're attempting to do something about, I guess, people abusing souls, which I can't say is a bad thing, but then there's like it's like a hard, sudden drop of this happens, like what's a good example about this? I don't know what's a good example about this. Does this fit? If suddenly the whole entire world just suddenly shifted and all plastic straws disappeared.
Wait, Gabe, what the hell? What are you talking
No,
about?
never mind. Ignore me. Ignore me. It doesn't work. Doesn't
Yeah, we
work.
lost.
Doesn't work. My brain, my brain doesn't function.
I get what you're trying to say.
We're trying to
I
save
get
the
what you're trying to
turtles.
say. You're trying to say that. Yeah. So what you're trying to say is like it's better if you're like standing on ice and then the ice slowly melts and then you crash, as opposed to suddenly you're just like boom, you fall through, right?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to get at, and it goes back to Valk's point of how people are comfortable. Because right now, right, there's two things: is there's people who are happy about this because they're getting abused by souls, and there are people who are unhappy about this because they're abusing the souls.
Ooh, two sides, Gabe. Cleavers versus turn twos.
And then there's people who are like the boomers, like me and you, Car, obviously, who are neutral, right? And Valk also
yeah,
has
let's
a
go with
mustache.
that. Let's go with I'm
Wait,
neutral.
I just realized all three of us have, a healthy amount of facial hair now. Pog.
I want to ask I want to ask chat a very like a very big question that's on topic with this, if you guys don't mind.
No, I don't mind you, but you
Um,
gotta promise us you'll get a mustache.
I actually physically am incapable of getting a mustache. Just so you know.
Sorry.
I've actually never shaved a single day in my life so far.
Oh,
What?
shit, okay.
Dang.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so the question I want to ask,
Yes.
do you guys think that Frenzy 9 gaming is an issue?
Right now, no.
No. Like in general. If
Oh.
the meta were to be in a world where it's like Frenzy 9 gaming, is that an issue?
I think for like one season, it's fine, or half a season. And then if new heroes kind of pendulum swing it away from that, which usually happens.
I'm
Okay,
personally
now I
not
wanna
a fan.
ask-
I'm personally not a fan of Frenzy 9 gaming because
Okay.
Yeah, I think it should be a choice, right? Like you're playing like double Soul Weavers, double Knight with 1 DPS. Like you're choosing to play Frenzy 9. I don't think everybody should be playing it.
Okay, now my next question I want to ask. Do you think turn 1 gaming is an issue?
personally, no.
Tell
And
me up until
I'll tell you
Angel
what.
of Light.
I feel like there's enough. Smilegate has come up with a lot of counters. Not everyone has every single counter, but they're starting to I feel like Smilegate's releasing more and more counters. To be honest, and I wouldn't be surprised if they released more with the new characters that are coming out. Obviously, the people. I think okay. I don't know what their decision is, but my thoughts on why they're deciding to like get rid of the turn 1 gaming is because if you're blessed with speed gear, you're a turn 1 gamer. If you're not blessed with speed gear, like our old friend Code was, or like, a bunch of people in chat probably, you're kind of stuck and you have nothing to. There's no way for you to counter that, right? And I think that's very frustrating for a lot of people. Like some of my friends, like they don't have speed gear, right? And like when I like try to like guide them on, coach them on what to do, like there's only so many things we can do also. So I kind of understand that part. Yeah.
So
I would
what I'm
argue
trying
this.
to
Okay, go.
Hey, was
go
it
ahead.
just turn 2 if you just can't roll speed? Just feels
Well,
bad,
so-
huh?
Yeah.
like my
Yeah.
the reason behind why I'm asking these 2 questions actually is because I want people to kind of see from both sides, because I know that we have a lot of cleavers in chat,
Yeah.
and to them cleaving is not an issue, like games should be over in 1 match. My opponent should not get a turn to play even a single move and I should just win, and that seems fine, that seems fair and balanced to a lot of people in chat. We had an official live stream a couple weeks ago where I actually fought against one of our newer community managers, Luca.
Yeah.
And, me, someone who's blessed with speed gear, I have multiple 300 plus speed heroes. Flex. I could have easily just drafted a cleave against her, and I could have just beat her instantly, She doesn't get a single chance to get to play the game. But I decided to pick, like, bruisers, like Alensi and stuff like that, too. And she actually got a chance to, like, play. And, it was pretty fun. Would it have been fun for her if I just annihilated her in 1 turn?
So my counter argument to that, right, is I think mostly for the second half of last season, right, I played a style that a lot of people in the community will know as slow cleave, right? And I think I played against you with the same style as well, New, right? Which is like, I don't have to take turn 1 in order to cleave you, right? I run a lot of like interference stuff, like General Purgus, Holiday Euphine, right? And that's kind of part of the issue I was having with like Angel of Light Angelica, which is like she can bypass a lot of the mechanisms built in, so that she reestablished the fact that, well, if I don't outspeed, I'm kind of bone, right? And what I've been doing these past week or so, right, is essentially I'm pre-banning Angel of Light Angelica, and what that does is it forces the game state that I'm currently playing in to roll back 1 patch. Right? And I think for a lot of people, they're going to have to approach Belian in the same way. Right? But I feel like overall though, right? Even if like you don't have speed gear, there are still ways, right? The game still gave us tools to reestablish control over like the turn initiative, right? Because ultimately speaking, it's the CR that matters, not quite the speed, right? Speed just kind of translates into CR over time.
Yeah, but what are your examples of these units? Because I think your argument also it doesn't really counteract news because he made sure to say not all new players have these said heroes. So you're saying CR
True.
manipulation heroes that you would still need some gear on them, but I'm assuming you mean like Sage Ball, other units that can kind of push themselves. I think so. There's two parts. When news example with Luca, I don't think we need to balance the game around the new player having fun. Hopefully they fight other bronze, silver on the climb, in which case we want to balance towards more the end game typically. But also there should be something to say about if turn 1 becomes too powerful, then at what point is it all just gear diff and there's no counterplay at all, right? So
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. My example was not immense for like, oh, the game should be balanced around new players that. But rather, it's like, isn't it more fun and dynamic when both sides get to actually play the game?
Poll-wise, just to let you guys know, currently we have like 900 people in chat. I have 182 that voted for yes to release Belian as her current state, and 116 that voted no.
oh,
I'm glad to know,
surprised.
there is a solid 500 something plus amount of you guys who just are neutral, I would assume.
That means us turn 2 players outnumber the cleavers. That's what that tells us. Because we weren't blessed with speed gear like new.
Yeah.
You guys are just farming the wrong. You guys are just farming the wrong.
You're not
wrong
farming,
wyvern, okay?
period, new.
You're farming.
You had Smilegate give you speed gear. That's the only way. I'm going to say it right now.
Bro, you're farming like a
Experience
year ago. You're farming a hunt that was. You're farming the. Yeah, I don't even know what to say about this. At least you're not farming Golem. Wait.
Wait,
I
you
am
were?
farming Golem.
he is farming.
Yeah, I got buffs.
Never mind.
Golem was buffed.
Yeah, never mind. You were farming Golem. I forgot. Yeah, never mind.
Oh
I take
my
that back. Oh God. Anyway, ignoring what you said, there is something I want to go back on. Tempered said something actually in chat that I want to know what you guys said. Think about this. He also said it was too drastic and whatnot. Okay, we talked about that. I'm curious. This says also this rewards Banshee gamers and punishes Wyvern gamers. Do you think that's true?
Wait, rewards Banshee, punishes Wyvern, is that what you said?
Yes, with Belian and how it removes.
I think that's been the
soul.
trend, not just with Belian, but lately that's kind of been it's just I think it's more like Banshee's more viable. But isn't that what the player base wanted? Like Wyvern to not be the king of everything all the time?
Yeah.
That's why Smilegate introduced all the like buffs. Like he's doing Nuke's freaking doing Golem now. They buffed all the other stuff. So
Okay, Nu's a special case.
yeah, but I think it's okay that more people are farming Banshee. We want more variety, no?
Banshee though, yeah.
But I guess the focus is punishing Wyvern farmers. Is that the main focus?
Half of it, yeah. I think so. Like, does this punish Wyvern gamers with the soul? Because people farm speed for the, I'm guessing for, first turn and whatnot.
I mean, yeah, for sure it does. If you've been farming and maybe even wailing on that for the past long while since the game came out, of course, yeah.
Okay.
I guess for Belian, right? Another thing that I kind of want to get everybody and even of course chat's take on is like, how do you guys feel like Belian's interaction with like not cleave heroes or even aggro heroes, right? But soul reliant heroes. So for example, like your Stene, your 8 Tywin, right? Heroes that over the course of a game, their play pattern involves and their core like comboing involves collecting souls and then like farming value out of that soul, right? And I think that kind of causes some issue for said heroes as well. And as far as I know, what most people are building on Stene nowadays, it's lifesteal, which is also a Banshee set.
Yeah. Yeah, Belian definitely removes a lot more than just cleavers, though. I was talking about that on stream. Yeah. What's it called? Yeah, you don't have Spectre that you're used to. You can't soul burn abuse a Tywin. Granted, he hasn't been in the meta that as nearly as much, but he is okay in the meta still. Who else is there? Like, there's some others that I talked about on my stream. Was it Landy was another one that I was kind of mentioning because if you're running like a guiding light or whatever, having soul burn eventually with the buffs allows you to get your extra turn.
Anyone with those powerful extra turns, make Chloe.
Fire
Is that what we're talking
Charlotte.
about?
Oh yeah, you can't soul burn Acoli Acid to instantly nuke a squishier unit, which I use Acoli to early nuke Angel of Light Angelica to sort of pseudo counter her sometimes. Yeah, like,
chat saying A-Raz.
oh yeah, you can't soul burn A-Raz S2 for the extra turn there. Like, yeah, a lot of characters benefit from soul burn. That's why I think like being like a hard, like a boom, like a drop, I think is gonna eventually we'll be just going through our normal day, the day in Epic 7, and we'll be like, oh yeah, let's just soul. Oh, right, can't soul burn this, and then it's gonna be like, huh. I don't think it's
I'll play
necessarily
devil's advocate here.
a bad thing. Oh, go for it.
I'll play devil's advocate here, okay? I think I'm gonna say something really radical too.
Oh,
I
baby.
think Belial saves everything that is wrong with the current RTA meta. Not just
Belial?
Cleave. Belian
Belian, yeah.
saves everything wrong with the current RTA meta, not just Cleave. It stops the first pick S10A, protect the S10A comps. It's going to really take a lot of power from that. And believe me, it's going to hurt Landy comps too. Protect the Landy comps.
For sure.
Her S1 is so powerful against Landy. And her S2 is so powerful against S10A. And Carrot as well, who is so prevalent in the current meta, is going to lose a lot of stopping power as well. And everything we know about what is right now is going to be wrong when she comes out.
So definitely shake things up.
Devil's
I actually
advocate.
kind of agree with that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Stene first pick and is too strong right now.
I'm not going to disagree that it's 100% going to shift the meta. People that have her are... Oh, go for it. Sorry.
Like, how many people right now are so sick of this current standard draft meta where we're always drafting protect the Stene, protect the Landy comps? That has been the relevant meta for how long now? And now it is finally potentially changing. Isn't that great?
Good amount of chat agrees with you. I think one thing is... it's definitely going to slow down the meta, if anything. Like, there will still be some people who have... Like, some of the cleavers who have a lot of options with cleaving can probably still make it work in some instances. The one thing is, you probably... If you ever see her in a arena or guild war, you probably have to slow yourself down. You can't just cleave anything anymore. So that's not the... I don't get to take the easy way out in arena anymore of just using Alos Judge Kisei.
Yeah, that's definitely the way, right? Because recently I've been playing arena just because I've been kind of finding fun in it, right? And if she goes live in arena where I don't even have the option to ban her, right? I am a little bit worried about that. But ultimately speaking, right, it's kind of out of my control, right? I see myself as an adaptable player, so you know whatever happens. But I, on the topic of like the current draft, right, where it's like okay, protect the Landy or protect the Sene, I actually kind of agree, right? I do want to see some stuff change, right? And I think it does add an interesting dynamic in the draft, and I can absolutely agree with that. But ultimately my issue comes down to the fact that outside of the draft, right? Once you're done with the draft, you still have to play the game. And inside the game, she removes a lot of like the fun, right?
Oh yeah, you can't... Oh yeah, everyone that has ignore effect resist soul burn now can't ignore effect resist also. So yeah. That part of their skill kit pretty much dies with Belian being on the field there also. So
I agree.
you can't guarantee
going back
anything
to
there.
my original... going back to the original discussion that we had, I agree that less options to make in-game is less fun, but I think that there is potential in the fun will come from a more diverse draft, where it's no longer just slam the Stene first pick, pick the Landy, protect the Landy, protect the Stene, cleave. Instead, we're going to see potentially more heroes.
That's fair. I do honestly agree with that. I honestly do agree with that part. And part of me inside, I'm actually sort of excited to see when she does get released, to see how things does end up being kind of changed, to be fair.
Valk, you said you like Nue's take too, right?
Yeah, I actually quite like it quite a bit. I
Done,
think it
new
makes
releaser.
drafts more interesting.
She's good. We got the approval. Chad also weighed in. We're good to go.
Yeah,
Let's
chat
get
weighed
her
in.
out
You know,
there.
chat said yes for it.
Let me just say too, this is all speculative. We won't actually know how much of an impact that Belian
Yeah.
will make. This is I am looking at this through like the best possible case scenario, and we won't know. Yeah.
I'm actually surprised that was your take, Nue, because I know you are a player that kind of likes having souls or units that kind of play faster. So for you to have
So-
that, you've given it a lot of thought, obviously.
I've actually talked to Light today through DMs on Discord, and I told him something. I told him let me scroll and find it. I said this. There's two ways that people draft in this game. One is they draft the things they like, and two is they draft the things they hate. I am naturally a speed. Like I have so many speed heroes built because I hate being cleaved. I hate it. So if I pick it, then maybe I won't get cleaved because they'll see that and be like, I won't challenge the speed, and that's what I'm hoping for.
That's an interesting take.
I don't know how relevant that is to most. I think for a lot of us, it's just kind of the gear we're given. But yeah, I guess
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I think some people don't really have a choice, unfortunately. Nue.
Exactly. Dude.
Unlike
Well, that's because you guys are.
you?
That's because you guys are farming the wrong wyverns. So you guys don't.
No,
have
no,
enough-
no,
Let me just
no.
farm some golem so I can get some speed.
Yeah, let me.
gear.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, maybe you're right. I'll go farm Wyvern 12 the next hunt buff. You know, I'll let you. I'll let you know how that
Same.
goes. Yeah. I, I'm not even comment about that. I'm still surprised
Like
about
what?
that.
Like why do you think I pick Stene like first pick every single game? It's because I can't deal with her. Like if my opponent takes Stene, then I like literally die inside. So that's why I feel forced to pick her, and I'm hoping with the Belian, I don't have to be forced into this playstyle that I currently have. I'm hoping there's a little bit more freedom. Again, best case scenario.
Yeah.
No.
And what's
that's-
worst case scenario, Nue? The that Belian comes out, every match is frenzy 10, and then everyone just resident sleeper spams all day. No, I'm being serious. Like that'd be worst case scenario, right? Best case
That
scenario
is
in your
worst case
world.
scenario.
Yeah, we get a
Yes.
lot of diverse meta. People aren't super reliant on turn one. Book isn't as powerful, or might be dead. But yeah, I guess what's the balance? We have to find the balance between frenzy 10 gaming all day. Like I think Valk was originally saying that's kind of the unfun what could happen, and then your utopian diversity. I would love that too, but I'm not sure which one would happen.
I think the best case scenario in terms of matches is it's not turn 1 and it's not turn 9 or frenzy
So
9.
somewhere in between,
you know?
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the best case
That's
scenario.
most likely
Yeah.
too, I think.
Both sides. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think you guys can see from the current direction of heroes being released and trying to answer a lot of like the current, because here's the Pavel Cleave is kind of it's too much. It's way too much right now.
There's definitely
So-
been releases that sort of seem like they're aimed towards countering him. To be honest, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say AOL, Angel of Light Angelica, it was a failed attempt to take some stopping power out of Pavel.
Dang. All right.
I see.
Whoa.
Fair. I feel like it's a hard judgment for this. Like, no matter what happens, I always say this: no matter what happens, someone out there is going to be unhappy, regardless of what happens.
True.
Yeah.
So I think take it in stride, see what happens, and then we can see how it goes from there. There is something we'll go on about that actually, though. But to see, we'll actually talk about the current RTA meta. I'm gonna skip Angel of Light because we'll brush over in the RTA meta discussion. What are your thoughts on the current RTA meta discussion? Oh, sorry. What are your thoughts on the current RTA meta? Why did I add discussion into that?
Redundant.
So I think I covered this earlier, right? Which is like I personally, because I have a pretty big hero pool, right? I like it quite a bit, and for me personally, my playstyle right now is I pre-ban Angel of Light, so I force the game to roll back one entire patch, and I play it as normal, right? And I know not everybody can do that, right? But that's kind of like the way I found around the current issue I'm having with the hero and whatnot.
That's fair. Car? Do you have any takes on this?
Is it our teammate? Wait, was Valk talking about with Angelica? Is that what he's saying?
Angelica, yeah.
Just in general, right?
I
'Cause
just
I don't
just
like
first
playing
picker.
against
I just
Yeah,
first
just
picker.
Okay, dude.
Yeah, no joke. As a turn 2 player, I just first picker, and if they're cleaving, they can't have her. I just abuse her. No shame, no shame.
No shame. I see.
Let me just say, I absolutely love the current meta. I am like flying through climbing right now. Like I have less than 130 games, I think, right now, and I'm
Yeah.
already Emperor. Like pretty
Really?
well into Emperor.
Is
Yes.
are,
It's I have broken this season down to science. Okay.
And is the science a Ravi?
It's a Rob. Why is
Did I
she so
call it?
good? I love
Yeah.
it. I love how good she is now. Holy moly.
Yep, she's
yeah.
pretty insane.
fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the thing is too, I know you guys were watching the official live stream when we were doing that Angel of Light Angelica, how to like counter her, and
Yeah.
it's a meme like New just banned her in the drafting phase, and that's how you counter her. In my past 20 games or so, I think my opponent drafted AOL against me. I've had like 20 games, I think 6 of them they drafted AOL against me. I actually didn't lose a single time to her, currently. Yeah, I have not lost a single time to AOL yet. It's gonna happen. But yet I have not. I found an answer against her. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's fair.
Is that a secret? Is it a secret
And here's the
answer?
thing. Well, the thing is, if I tell you guys what the answer is that I have,
Yeah.
it might not work for you. And anyone in chat can always debate like, oh, but if you pick that, then your opponent's gonna draft this. But then, and this goes to this whole like lengthy argument of then I'll draft like this, then I'll do that, and
Yeah,
so
yeah, of course.
I'm not gonna
That's a
tell
lot
you
of
guys what the
what-ifs.
answer is.
No, tell us what it is,
Yeah.
New. Tell us what it is. Real chat.
Yeah, I think chat wants a secret tech.
What's the secret tag, dude?
Okay.
To get crab gaming without farming.
New does
I
have
think all of you-
speed answers.
I think all of you guys need to really consider bringing Flurry back. And I know a lot of people are saying that Flurry never left, but there is a Flurry has definitely seen a
That's a good
backseat
answer,
compared
yeah.
to
Yeah.
compared
it.
to where she used to be. But consider bringing her back as like a really good pick.
Okay. Fair. New secret tech 101. Bring Flurry back into your
but you know
roster.
what though? When Belian comes, right? Flurry cannot get soul burn. And then when you cannot soul burn your Flurry, what will we see, right?
Oh
Hey,
no,
immune,
we'll have to
Resisted,
do an
immune. The
No,
core
no,
Epic
no.
7 experience.
I will
So she'll
take
have
an
to play fair?
85% win rate. I will take an 85% win rate.
Yeah,
okay?
guys, you're getting reliant on
great.
the ignore effect of this shit. New's right. You'd be in the same spot as other units. You'd have to pray or die and live by the 15%.
Yeah, people are so comfortable drafting Violet with a 55% win rate. I'm comfortable with a Flurry with an 85% win rate.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, how often do you guys see right now with the way you guys play Rem and Violet, actually?
Not YD. Sorry, was it?
Pretty much on like maybe like 90% of my games.
Okay. What do you think about
Rem.
them? What are your thoughts about those two right now?
So I know a lot of people in chat aren't happy with Rem. I play Pavel, so I don't know. If I say I don't think that it's an issue, that's kind of talking out my ass, right? And then I'm a Briar Witchessaria player. I think I'm kind of known for that. So if I say Violet isn't a problem, I'm kind of talking out my ass, right? So, but that's just in general my experience with them.
I'm
I
actually
don't know about
surprised.
how everyone else goes.
I'm actually very surprised that you're having success with Briar Witchessaria. I think that a lot of her power was removed ever since Maid Chloe got buffed, along with Amelia's release. A lot of targets that you would be able to just unbuffable and attack down and just cut through that evasion, they'll just get healed back and they'll be cleansed of all their debuffs.
Oh yeah. So in my personal case, right? Because I first pick Amelia pretty often, so that takes care of that one. And ever since Maid buff, right? Ever since Maid buff, I actually slowed down my Briar Witchessaria to just basically be a cleaver, and I kind of look for opportunities where I get a 4-man. They have a 4-man lineup, right? So I think, okay, what can I remove to essentially enable me to cleave them with Briar Witchessaria? Or like, you know, what possible 5th pick they can have to kind of screw that up.
Fair.
And that's kind of like the way I was looking at it.
The one thing
Let's
is,
see.
I've always used Viability, and I'm very hesitant to bring her against Violets because it never feels reliable. So if I were pick her, it never ends up well for me. So
Because if you don't one-shot the Violet with your Viceria, he's just gonna apple, and then now your power is gone. Your one skill is now on cooldown.
yeah, actually, then again, okay, that's true. Yeah. That's because I am. You run Misha, right, Valk? I assume.
So until I moved my symbol of Unity to Pavel, I was running symbol of Unity, and now I'm running Misha, and I'm trying to like speed run through episode 3 story to try to get an MLB Misha from Selector, so I have perfect hit rate versus Green Violet.
I see. Okay, yeah. I guess that's the thing. I've never been able to get Misha, so I'm kind of stuck without that. That is true.
Valk from Selector, the pack? What are
Yeah,
you
because
talking
you
about?
beat episode 3, you get a selective
Oh, the
summon,
selective
right?
summons.
Oh, the summon. I thought you meant the artifact for the Misha artifact.
Yeah. But the next pack comes through though. I'm thinking about it. I'm probably gonna stare at it on my screen for a while, but the moment I hit that MLB Misha, I'm ready to start slamming Briar Witch's area again.
Fair. Okay. Um.
But back to the original topic, I actually enjoy the current meta. The current meta, I think, is really nice.
Do you think you'll
For
hate
me.
the meta afterwards?
Again, best case scenario, I love it because I don't have to pick S10A anymore.
Yeah, his stance was that it would
yeah.
it would fix the meta.
Right,
hopefully.
right.
Yeah.
Right. That's
Because
fair.
right now I do feel like I'm forced into a very specific draft of covering my weaknesses. And what sucks is I don't play any dude characters, so I have a lot of weaknesses.
No.
But but
I've
I'm
definitely-
hoping.
I think we talk about a lot about how a lot of it should be a lot of the game should be tuned around the higher level player base, but I get a good amount of complaints from sometimes some newer players, people who either missed a collab or something that unfortunately they're being raffle stomped by Brem,
Yeah.
and that is one thing I feel really bad about. Like I'll get owned by her sometimes, but sometimes I'm okay. Sometimes I'm able to draft some solutions to her and whatnot. Sometimes I papega, but there's some newer players who don't really have answers to her, and they just kind of get countered to death by her. What do you guys feel about Rem? Like what are some good answers for Rem that people can use?
The easiest
I'm telling
accessible
ya.
would be Violet, probably.
Green Violet, yeah, in terms of accessibility.
And a lot of people picked him up, I think, with the Selector or the with
There's-
that Book of Ezra.
There's an even more accessible counter, and
You're saying
that's what I'm
Flurry?
saying. Like, maybe consider bring Flurry back. Yeah,
Fair.
So you can
That's
answer Rem
actually
and
very true.
Angelica, huh, Nu?
exactly. It's so strong.
Fair. Okay.
The thing though, Gabe, I've also as a streamer that has a lot of new players. The thing is, even if they were playing and they had Rem, she's a unit that it's not gonna help. Them having a Rem as a new player is very difficult to gear to work appropriately. They're gonna probably want to step into Banshee eventually, and you need kind of really
Most of
really nice
the-
counter gear too.
Most of my newer players that I know that got Rem, my suggestion for them was if you really want to kind of abuse the current Rem, just they aim for the arena counter gear set and they combo that on, and they just run the
It's
Rems.
nice. Yeah. And it's also nice that they can get Sigurd Scythe, but let's say they missed it and it was already like last month.
Yeah.
It would be pretty tough to run her, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Can I actually
Yeah.
just say something like a heretic would say this?
Oh God.
I think
okay.
Rem is balanced. I think Rem is absolutely balanced. Yes.
Okay.
The
can
reason
see-
why I
No, I love these takes today, man. I thought we
Yeah.
were keeping it safe.
Yeah,
this brings me back to when people think back then, when actually, well, I can't even say back then, when people were advocating that carrot was fine, the same thing again,
Like- no.
Whoa,
Like I think
whoa.
Carrot was I think Carrot was a problem at one point, and I think the reason why I say that Rem is actually fine is because you can't early pick her. You cannot. You early pick a Rem, you will get the Violet, and you'll be forced to ban the Violet with your Rem.
I've seen a fair amount of players who pre-ban Violet and pick Rem.
Well, that's because you're in champion.
Fucking this guy. All right.
Hey, don't worry, Gabe. I'm there too, and he's not wrong.
I can't
He's not
even
wrong.
disregard that. I can't even
Yeah,
say
he's
anything
not
because I
wrong.
haven't been climbing. True.
Bro, no.
Don't worry, I'm almost crabbed. Then we can shit. We'll bully him out of there, Gabe.
I'll climb the next few days so I can not take this.
I've
from
seen
you.
your stream. I've seen your stream today, and when you climb, you mean reverse climb, right?
Sometimes, yeah. Hey, that's because I like using Summer Asaria, bro. She's so fun to
Yeah.
use, but she's I can't make use of her well enough. That's the sad part about that. That's probably one of my favorite units that got released recently, but I'm just kind of
She's
sad.
fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I'm sad she.
Yeah, the most success I had with Summer Asaria was with the most reliable stripper in the game. Unresistible strip on a passive, Rem. Agree?
Oh.
Yeah.
Those were some of the best game I had with Summertime Asaria, which is like you just pick her as like a bruiser, right?
Yeah,
And then
I've seen those.
you have your Rem, they activate the Rem, or you have a bruiser Politis, they activate your Rem or Politis, and then you just like rubs hands together, like, oh boy, it's soul burn time.
Here, let me. I think there's a lot about RTA. Let's talk about something about chat. Well, I guess it'll still be RTA. Someone asked, what about newer players or just knowing when to transition to RTA? That's where I'm at, and it's kind of hard to find content for it. What do you guys think about that? Like, when should someone transition to RTA? How would they know when, they're ready for that? Because one of the things I will say is, one thing I kind of wish Smilegate does release is the percentage of player base in the game playing RTA. That would be nice to know. Granted, I don't know if we'll be able to find that out if they're willing to tell us that.
It's very small. I'm sure. Yeah.
The other part of that is matchmaking. I feel like sometimes sucks, as is with any other game. Matchmaking usually sucks. Some newer players end up getting queued against, like people in like Masters Challenger when they're in like placements. And if they're newer, they're trying to get into RTA. Like, what do? You get stomped. Some people will be okay with it. They'll be like, wow, I need to get better. Other people are like, this game sucks, I can't, unplayable, right? What do I do? Right,
so that goes hand in hand, as Gabe, and I'm sure you do a good job of telling them, right? If you step in RTA as a new player, you're going to get probably destroyed. And that's something you'll have to, coming into the game 3 years in, that's just something that's going to happen. But I would say the best time is probably, if you wanted to be most efficient, after you get your whatever hunt of choice, usually Wyvern, unless your name is new, on lock, and then maybe some Hell Raid. Yeah, I think that's the best time, because then you have your gold income, hopefully some gear. You can start equipment converting, some like speed boots, and at least you have more than just your free sets. That's the only thing. But jump in as soon as possible, start learning to play. You're going to get destroyed in the beginning, but I think if you really want to play RTA, you just sooner the start, the better. Get that experience.
Agree with that.
I think most of the time I tell my viewers to, some of my newer friends that I know that picked up the game, they jumped into RTA sometimes, and they have like 1 6-star character. I'm like, yeah, and they're in. I'm just like, okay, never mind.
And they want to win, right?
Yeah, they're like, I got this, and then it's just like one character, boom, instant team wipe. I'm like, oh, I tried to warn you. It's okay. Most of the time I tell people, have at least 8 6-star characters. That way, if one is banned, whatnot, pre-ban, post-ban, at least you have a full roster of 6 stars,
Yeah.
But
that's the tough part, right, Gabe? Having that many characters, because you need that many to have choices to counterpick, and then just have if they take a unit, if they ban it. But then having them all in acceptable gear also.
Yeah.
It's a huge gap for new players to get into. And that's probably why you don't see a lot of content on it, guys. It's really hard to advise some of y'all on, besides just farm more, which sounds like a crappy answer, but it's kind of true. You kind of just got to put in the work, and eventually, slowly, you'll build up enough characters to an acceptable level. And if you're just climbing for masters for the skin, a lot of y'all can reach it. But the answer is just play and just farm after being efficient with your hunts.
Oh, that is one thing I was going to say. Someone actually made a comment about this. That is something that's... when we first started Epic 7, right? Advice for everyone is you have to pick some things, to specifically do something. So you can get to Wyvern, get gear, so you can play the game kind of thing. But I think with the recent way Epic 7 has released a lot of stuff, you don't nearly have to rush it as hard. You still aim for it, but it's a lot easier to get to there. It's a lot easier to, I think, get into the game now, which is nice.
For sure.
By the way, I want to talk a little bit on that topic of
Mm.
when is it right for a new player to hop into RTA.
Okay.
And I know that the most of the answer that you guys as content creators will tell players is you need to have an acceptable amount of heroes built. Usually you want to have like your bases covered in terms of like, you know, like, oh, do you have an answer to RB or whatever is popular at the time? And you need to have a certain level of gear, right? Is that usually the answer that's like baseline for you guys? Yeah?
Yeah, that's like the safe answer I give because
I don't know if
Right.
do you talk about countering specific units, Gabe? I'm more general
No.
than just if you have these sort of meta units, like I tell them, hey guys, just build Carrot, honestly.
Yeah.
She's accessible, flurry, things like that.
To be
Just
honest,
use your ML connection. Go ahead.
oh sorry, like
No, I was done.
I think like to be honest for them, I give really a general answer there because one thing I've come to realize is some of the people I've kind of advised is some people get burnt out a lot easier than others. And if you're forced to play very specific meta units that you don't like to use, you feel like it ends up being a chore a lot quicker. While sometimes I tell people just kind of have fun with the game, build who you like, take a slow progression, you know, and once you build up enough, go in and have fun. You're not gonna win everything, but
Well, I think it would depend. So you're saying some players get burnt out more. There's also players that just hate losing, right? So you'd have to
Yeah.
identify which one they are between the two, and
Yeah.
then you would advise.
so I always ask
from
people,
there.
you know, like where they're at, you know, what kind of player they are, you know, how competitive you are, and then based on those, right, you can make a choice of whether to go towards building up specific core meta units, you know, or just building up units that you want to use to have fun, kind of thing.
Yeah, because the reason why I say all this is because I feel like anytime I've seen a lot of people give advice in terms of when someone should hop into RTA, I feel like we're always giving advice that's always coming from this level of this person is trying to reach legend for some reason. We're telling them to build like all these counters for all these certain heroes. You have to have X like gear quality. I mean, look at me. Like I farm Wyvern 12. I'm sure if you guys watch you watch Kana's stream and you know a lot of my heroes are not well geared. A lot of my heroes do not have good gear. I
So
use
New
the
had
free
great-
gear.
I liked her news early takes. This is not it.
Okay, the thing is, the
no,
reason why
no,
we
no,
tell
no.
people this is because of matchmaking. They're going to run into people that, for the people who are competitive, if they don't have, you know, like the meta units and whatnot and everything built, they're going to run into the people who have all.
Yeah, news acting like you tell people to play what they want. They bring like SC Rima and
Yeah, like
what's gonna happen?
if
They're
you
gonna
play
get destroyed.
placements, you're not going to run into people running like
News gonna say, but
SC
look, I did it
Wanda,
without farming.
Helga, Banshee Sisters, right? People don't pick random 3-stars or stuff that are not in the meta. You're gonna
All I'm
play
saying
placements, and
is-
people are gonna hard meta like stomp you. That's the worst part because
All I'm saying is that people are like treating hopping into RTA like the Cuban Missile Crisis, okay? Everyone's like stocking up all these things, a bunker, and they're like rations and stuff like that. And you're never gonna get to that point where you feel good enough until you just hop in.
okay,
Because
That's true, yeah.
the person who knows when you are ready for RTA is you.
Yes.
No one else can tell you. And the only way that you're going to find out is if you jump into RTA and you start to realize, I'm constantly losing to this hero. Let me see if I could build an answer to this hero. It seems like this combination of heroes that I'm using is doing quite well. Maybe I'll consider investing better gear into these two heroes. These are the questions and answers that you'll get from playing on your own, not from some streamer on Epic 7. And I'll tell you, a lot of Epic 7 streamers are not
Now I feel
good in terms of
attacked.
quality.
what the heck, dude?
Trying to
Okay,
put us out of a job. All right, Gabe, kick him off. Kick him off. This is too tough.
yeah. Peace.
I'm actually reporting him to Smilegate.
Yo, flight risk right here. I'm just kidding.
Rip and pepperoni.
No, okay. Honestly, I kind of agree. Like that's actually really fair. Like
Yeah.
you really don't know if you're ready or not, except for yourself. Like only you yourself will know when you're ready for RTA. I think the biggest thing is it's always a disclaimer when I tell people. They're like, when should I go on RTA? If they ask me on my stream, right? It's, you know, are you afraid of losing? You know, like, because there's a lot of different people out there, right? Like, there's a lot of factors that I feel like have to go into this nowadays. You know, are you someone who will, are you afraid to get stomped on in RTA? If the answer is no, just go in. have a feel for it. Like the best example, right, about this is Lakari. He started the game, he was new, he went into RTA, his viewers sniped him, he got demolished. Did he get disheartened? No.
I think that's fair, boys, but not every player is a competitive player like Lakari. Some of them just want a little guidance, just a little just a little push to get them started. It would be a perfect world. Although, like, we'd be out of jobs, Valk and Sky King, if everyone kind of just figured shit out on their own. But that would be a better situation, and I think players that can do that, it's fine. It's a testament how good they are. But a lot of people just want a little bit of advice, right? Maybe focus on this, get ready, start prepping this, be efficient with that, and then jump in. I even said, New, if you want to roll back the tapes 10 minutes, I said just jump in, the earlier you start, the better. Not all of us are saying, like, have this and that until you have all these X and Y's ready, don't even step foot into it. But it's also part of the problem with the game. You're expecting new players to compete with 3-year-old players and just have fun. It's not going to happen a lot of the time.
I think one of the things is like people who are very competitive will always reach out. People, those really, really competitive people will be active on Discords. Those people will be active in streams and whatnot, always trying to learn. Like those are the people that are looking for the meta.
That's true, yeah.
So I'm not too worried about those.
I want to respond to what you just said, Car, though. Would you say that, and this is what I love about RTA, and this is what I love about how it rewards people for playing RTA, would you say that the rewards are absolutely mandatory? You know, like Judge Kisei skin? Would you say
no,
that?
not at all.
Not
Not at all, right?
Yeah.
So, like, for people like that who just... I feel like people who are not competitive and who get like just a really bad time and just a really bad mood for losing, RTA might not be the content for them. And that's the beauty of Epic 7 is that there's content for a variety types of people, you know?
No, you're 100% right, but there's also people out there that aren't sure yet, but maybe this is one of their first more competitive games. And so they're not like the Lakari style where they play a lot of fighting games, they play other competitive gotcha games or whatever. And so they won't know, and some of them do need a little bit of, just a little guidance, that's all. I think there's a middle ground.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
And guys, let's be real. Everyone needs to know this. I think this is understated. We want to make sure more and more people join into RTA because it's already a situation where you kind of just see the same faces over and over. So we want to continually try our best, even if it kind of hurts endgame players sometimes, to make it a lot easier. And I think Smilegate's been doing that. But yeah, we always have to have an influx of newer players. Otherwise, the game, it's going to just, no one wants to play the same 5 people over and over.
Yeah, absolutely.
I definitely agree with that.
You know, once, and someone mentions in chat, you know, like once we have a certain other server join, I think it's going to be very interesting.
Oh, true, yeah.
Yes, that is something I'm excited about, though, to be honest. I am excited for, our Japan server brothers to join us.
Yeah, I'm ready to see some Japanese whale builds because
I've seen some crazy
we've seen some crazy stats, right?
Yeah, there's been some crazy stat lines that I've seen there, and it'll be interesting. It'll be fun, honestly.
Yep.
Oh yeah. When is the RTA Free Energy Web event coming back? Yo, hello? Yeah. Give people a little bit of incentive,
Oh, is this time where we get to ask new questions? New, when's ML4 coming back?
No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to answer any of this, New.
Yeah, you can just DM me the answer.
Wait, what?
Oh my God.
All right. Anything else you guys want to bring up specifically?
Specifically, not really. I think we covered most of like the stuff that people really want to kind of.
I think Belian was a really big topic of kind of today. That was the main thing a lot of people want to.
And I just want to touch on that a little bit. I think that a lot of the anger from the community comes from fear. I think everyone's afraid of change.
True.
And I think Belian it's like we don't know. There's so many things we can't foresee with this.
Breach.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Like, oh man, there's so many examples about that. Like in general, like, in any sort of game when something new changes, right? Like whether it's like League of Legends or something totally changes. You're like, the heck do I do now? You can't be happy about everything like that.
Yeah.
And here's the thing too. I know that a lot of people are saying that, oh man, it's an ML5. with this kit, and I don't know if I can actually have enough pity to get this ML5. I think that Belian's just her existence is going to be similar to that of like a long time ago when Hufin existed. Suddenly Basar just vanished, right? Because you don't want to invest in heroes that it's like, oh, you get countered. It's like they'll just get hard countered. I don't want to invest in this hero anymore. I think potentially, and again, best case scenario, you people who do not have enough pity for Belian, you might not even have to have her, because just her existing in the game might force people to feel that they have to adapt a different playstyle.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. I can already see that, right? For example, something I'm preparing to do, right, when Belian drops is I'm gonna swap Stene to a Crimson Moon of a Nightmare, and I already start like preparing. What am I gonna swap this mage to? What am I gonna swap that mage to? How am I dropping a Tywin from my drafts, right? Stuff like that.
Yeah, I think just the existence of Belian will already shift the meta enough that like some people that can't get her don't have to worry as much. Granted, it might cause a few issues sometimes in the games, but like with the shift in the meta, your games won't be nearly the same after she releases, I would imagine.
True.
Yeast alive. If you're not speed carried, there is no point in RTA. Keep it real. I'm a day one player and can say that.
Oh my god.
Oh god, that's a savage, straight up. All right. Well, I think that was pretty good. Covered mainly Belian tonight, which is I think I'm kind of happy about that. I think it was good talk about Belian. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. That was especially New. Yeah, you were I needed someone, and you showed up in my time of need. My best friend New.
I played it very safe today too, I think.
What do you
Very
mean?
safe.
You talk to us as a player, not the community manager New, but as a player. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, it's good to get the serious New a New just trying to farm some kick W's.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Like the thing is, like, obviously me on stream is like a character. Like it's not real. Obviously, it's just you turn a personality up 200% just because entertainment, haha, funny.
Oh.
It's nice to just not be that for sometimes.
New fate confirmed.
Chat's not gonna believe you. All right, thank you guys for joining. As always, start with Car. Feel free to plug your socials and then.
Nah, I don't need to, man. I'm just here because Gabe's my boy. We gotta play Valorant soon.
True.
Don't need to plug anything. Thank you for having me, brother.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Gabe. Just really fun. And of course, like I had a lot of thoughts, right, about Belian. So it's always good to get other content creators' thoughts, and also like there's a lot of top players in chat. So I wanted to see what they have to say as well. So
Yeah,
it's always
I was
good to
watching
just
chat
get
a
that
lot.
out.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of good opinions in chat. I honestly, man, I wish I could read at much faster speed and speak at a faster speed so we can get all the comments in. But
My brain's still turning at that straw analogy earlier. Yeah, but I don't know what
okay,
happened,
let's
but,
not talk about that. I'm sorry, my brain doesn't function sometimes. And
I just want to say that, obviously I was sent here to by Smilegate to do damage control for Belly. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Wait a minute. Flight risk.
Hey, if anything,
I'm
it's been
just
a lot
kidding,
better
guys.
than AOL. So you're doing great, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
But I know there's some people in chat who don't agree with everything that I said at her Belian. Who knows? Again, all of it's speculative. Maybe she will cause the game to become like really stale. Who knows, right? We'll find out.
Honestly,
And
like,
I still have to talk to.
yeah, we'll have to see what the community, because it's not just global, right? We have all the other servers' reactions we have to see, right? And there's like
Right.
such a big portion that's not part of Twitch. But yeah. All right. Well.
I still have to talk to certain players. Like, I know Tenbird is not too happy about this. So
Yeah.
we'll talk to Tenbird and stuff like that. Yeah. So we'll see. Anyways, thank you so much for having me on today's live stream, today's podcast. It was fun.
Yeah, appreciate
It was
it.
a
Thank you guys
pleasure,
for
man.
joining tonight. All right.
Yeah.
But that's
Val,
it.
good to see you, man. Bye, everybody.
Hope you guys enjoyed the
See you
podcast.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you, Gabe.